Radyo Katipunan. News, insights, inspiration. Radyo Katipunan. Down from the hill and down to the world. Radyo Katipunan. The voice of the Blue Eagle.
Alright, what is up, Blue Eagle Nation? Thank you again for tuning in to Radyo Katipunan 87.9, the voice of the Blue Eagle. You're hanging out with me again, Anthony, and we got some Futbol League Eagles in the house. If Juventus got their own CR7, chill, we got our own CR7. It's Cam Rodriguez, our very own CR7 over here. She just represented the Philippine women's national team, aka the Malditas, pero hindi sila mataray, that competed at the AAF Women's Championship just last month lang, no, Cam?
Mm-hmm.
Right? And first time for her to join us over here at Radyo Katipunan.
Thank you for having me.
Diba? And of course, my buddy from the Newbies Broadcasting Academy.
What's up?
They got their Cardi B, we got our Martie B. Martie Bautista.
I'll take it, man.
Who's doing her thing at the PhilAm Sevens League. No? So Ateneans and football fans out there, Martie just recently commented on the Sevens football positively affecting the growth of women's football in the country.
Yeah.
If you want to see her $1 million awkward interview smile on YouTube, it's for your own public consumption. You can just check it out on her Facebook page. There's a incredibly accurate snapshot of her mood.
Sample. Why did it?
There we go. It's the emoji, Marty, that the grin emoji. I mean, but this is something new. It's a new development for Kaya FC, and she's brandishing the kit right now.
Yeah, ready for training.
The long-standing Pinoy Football Club to have this is an inaugural women's team, if I'm correct.
Yeah.
All right. Like, what's the impetus behind it? Like, how did they just come up with, hey, let's put up a women's squad out there?
Well, they've been planning to put up a women's team ever since, and it's actually a requirement for men's club teams to have a women counterpart. So I guess Kaya was the first to take a step out there and make a women's team.
Oh, okay.
And we were actually talking about this. We wanted to train with Kaya FC mainly because the coaching staff in itself has caliber. Like, Coach Let, the women's national team coach, is the head coach, and her assistant coach was our former Ateneo coach, Coach JB Rita. So just being able to train with such a club that treats you like family and have a really remarkable coaching staff, I think it was a no-brainer to join and try out for Kaya FC.
All right. As well as Cam, diba?
Yeah.
You're also with Kaya.
Yeah. It's funny because in our first tryouts, it was sort of like tada, let's just join. Because we had those tryouts in the middle of our camp, and on that day, Coach Let first called training off, and then we were all just, come on, let's go and support, let's try out, and then I guess one thing led to another, and then we had to fix our previous commitments with other clubs, and then slowly transition into Kaya.
All right. So did you plan on just blowing out teams left and right within your first two matches? Because I think that's the case, Martie.
Well, we just want to take one game at a time.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
that's the safest answer. Like every athlete
it's the safest, but it's the most, it's the truest. Like when we came into it was obvious that the moment we entered McKinley, we kind of look intimidating because we have training kits, we have our full kits on, we even have a kit man. We were full with everything, right? The way we warmed up was how the professional teams would warm up, and there was a lot of expectation with Kaya FC coming into sevens.
It's the brand name, kasi.
It's like, and we just didn't think about it. I've been playing with Cam since I was in grade school. My teammates were also my teammates in the national team when we played in Tajikistan. So we just wanted to just play and focus.
And if you see like the score lines in the previous matches, it's pretty big, like
Yeah.
5'1" or 4'2",
Right.
for example.
Right
But I
around that
think in terms of our performance, there's still much work to be done kasi parang hindi pa namin masyado gamay din. So
Okay.
we just need to train more.
Okay.
And, yeah,
All
nothing
right.
training couldn't fix.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Now, Marty, if KFC is blowing out teams left and right at the Philem Sevens League, CR7 over here is one of the leading scorers for Stallion Hiraya, right, at the 2019 PFF Women's League, where her recent hat trick was the result of some zodiac voodoo magic. I don't know how to call it. I saw a graphic of this, no, Cam? The seven.
Shout out to Mia Montaire.
Yun.
She really was like when she
That's
was
what
making her poster for like the score results at the end of the game. She was like, but we're 7, and then she like, I don't know, Mia being Mia, she like dug further into it and saying like it's a 7th like this.
Yeah,
So
actually,
it
I
was
sent it to you. I was like, yo, check this out, man.
yeah.
But you weren't aware of that, were you, Marty? Even you?
No.
Like
No.
the 7 coinciding with everything else.
No,
Not
but
at all.
Cam scoring a hat trick. I was like, is she gonna come in and score a hat trick? Nonetheless.
You knew it was coming.
Yeah, like she came from AFF.
Yep.
So you could already tell the players who are in PFF right
Yes.
now they're fit and then
Right.
they have experience. So like it was crazy actually because every time there's PFF we have guy training or sevens. So every time Cam comes in we always tease her like, hey, score on Thursday.
Yeah, because our games would be at 10 a.m. So right after Carmona, I go straight to Kaya
Yeah.
Wow.
training. And they're just like,
Wow.
Cam, take
I'm
it easy. Take it easy.
That's brutal, huh?
Yeah.
it's okay. I mean, it's just extra work.
All right.
Like, the goal really is SEA Games. So
Right.
Yeah.
Which is a
I was
couple of
like,
months away.
just focus on that. Yeah.
Well, as Marty was mentioning earlier, no, Cam just recently got back from the Malditas second international friendly, VIS 2019, no, against Hong Kong, right? Oh, just over the weekend, no, Sunday
Yeah.
lang to. Hey, Maya Bernal scoring the equalizing
Go,
goal.
Maya.
Diba? Shout out to her, 89th
Yeah.
minute.
Yeah, it's actually her second international goal, and her first one was also at the friendly. So we teased her like, oh, grabe ka, mag-step up, mag-friendly.
Wow. No, ain't no friends after that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, diba, Cam, it must have been good at least to salvage a draw after, I'm sure it was grueling, that AFF championships, no? But you had to be exhausted after that. So, parang is getting a draw at least, something to be satisfied with?
A draw is definitely a stepping stone towards where we want to be. Pero we came into that match, of course, wanting to win. I mean, who doesn't want to win, right? Especially since, like, our coaching staff reminded us that we're going to this match being the better team, being better ranked.
Okay.
So, I feel like that friendly was just was like a test in terms of like our preparation.
Okay.
And those who know what happened in the team before that friendly could say that draw is already an achievement because
Okay.
of the last minute preparations talaga.
Yeah.
So we just take what we learned in the friendly and then take all the positives and work on the things to be improved on in training.
All right. Marty, don't you miss competing internationally? Like when Cam talks about this, di ba? Parang nakakaingit eh.
Actually, I was playing like in the U16, U15 before, but then it was only recently that I played with the senior Malditas team, and then I was with Cam.
Yeah,
and
that was last November.
Yeah, and we always hung out that time. So sometimes I would even sneak out of my room and then go to her room. So yeah.
So that you didn't hear that.
So yeah, like stuff like that I really miss, and also it's just a different area to go against international teams.
Sure.
Like the competitiveness is higher, and
Even for friendlies. Yeah.
Exactly, and the responsibility of raising your flag and representing a country. That's why I feel most of the times the most like seriously taken team in Philippine football is usually the national team in the country.
Right.
So it's really different, like coming into like, for example, club and then into the national team. So it's like stuff like that you'll miss.
For sure.
Having to look for a competitive team to train with. Like I would say one training with the Malditas would be like insane. Just having that much experience among your older players. Like we have senior veterans like Cam, Pim Pelido, Haley Long, Ina Palacios. Just training with them. Wow, I get so tired. It's not easy, yo.
Less late nights for Martie Bautista.
Yeah.
So, Cam, no, let's backtrack a bit to the Malditas build-up leading to the AFF Championships. No? So you had training camp right here at home, diba?
I'm so happy to be home.
Yeah. Like, does Martie, Cam, doesn't it help just training in your own, your happy place, your comfort zone? It just helps you bring out your best football. No? Parang kasi you know how the grass curve, diba? Isn't that true?
Yeah. I think it's just a feel of being home and then being able to share it with like a whole new set of family. Like that made it more meaningful. Like in the camp, so we'd stay at the quarters, right? And usually back in college, that's where our team stays, like right before every game. So being there every day and staying there every night, it's just I don't know, it's a whole different experience.
Really fun.
The dorm life.
Yeah.
I mean, it has its ups and downs, but I think overall the team enjoyed just being together, and then just.
It was how many people in one room?
Our room was more, like we were 16.
Oh man.
And the other room was at like 11.
Wow.
So parang talaga.
Nightly slumber party. But si Martie naman, I know you've been covering lots of PFL matches, diba? Lots of football matches everywhere. You've seen a lot of soccer pitches from Binyan to the PFF training center in Cavite, the one in McKinley, diba? Like how does our Molo Lorenzo field stack up?
Number one, our field is a natural grass pitch.
All right.
So the roll of the ball is different. How your knees are gonna take in the impact when you run is different. Because when you run on turf, in the long run, like your knees start to get it starts to hurt. That's true, right?
Yep.
Like, not just imagining that.
It's not just imagining, guys.
So it's also the familiarity. Like Cam and I, we've been training in that same pitch for about 4 or 5 years already. So coming back, I don't know if you felt it, but I felt like all these emotions.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I remember training here. I was 18, and then now I'm training with Cam, like at 22 years old, and we're with the Malditas.
Yeah. It's really just for personal growth. Like a small victory, internal victory.
Right. Yun. Well said. But speaking of training camp, no. I was going through the lineup of the Malditas now for the AFF Championships. I'm looking at it. Not just the roster composition, but also the coaching staff as well. No, from of course the coach Let Dimzon, diba? But looking at this lineup, this national team is loaded with UAAP talent from coaching staff to players. Like, I'm talking about you have 8 UAAP student athlete. Alumni, it's the female term for it. So you have yourself, Cam, and also Marian Caparos, diba? But also from Lasal, you have Hodges, Inking, Navaja, Palacios. Then as well as you have 9 current or / incoming UAAP student athletes from everywhere. Lasal, FEU, UP, UST, you name it. Diba parang Martie, Cam, like from your playing experience and everything, how has the level of UAAP women's football like progressed through the years now that it's able to like form majority of the national team? Like in your understanding of it?
I think the level has definitely been pushed higher, in a sense that these players are the players that the teams are looking out for, and at the same time, like little girls or fans are also looking up to, So I think it's pretty special that we have this sort of caliber in the local league and also in the national team.
Right.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and just like what Cam said, like like little girls who are coming in from high school and into college, when they see all these national team players in the UAAP teams,
Sure.
it raises the bar of
Sure.
like competitiveness
Yeah.
in the league, and also it makes the young girls think there's football even after college.
Yep.
So
There's something to aspire to,
yeah,
diba?
it's something to keep working hard for. Like it just
Exactly.
doesn't stop in
Exactly.
the UAAP.
Like, looking at the lineup now from 1 to 23 of the Malditas who competed at the AFF Championships, only 4 actually play club or / college soccer outside the Philippines. You name it, outside of Quezada, Simaragao, Cavel, diba? Those names, no? Majority play their club or college soccer over here, no? Parang it's quite different to that of the senior men's team where almost like 99.9% of them play everywhere.
Yeah.
You name it, everywhere. Like has Cam, Marty, has even we talked about the UAP, no? Pero has local women's club football also seen marked improvement?
I think on the club level, there's still a lot to be worked on.
Okay.
But I think what's special, like what you mentioned with the team composition, is that this team and even the coaching staff were the same coaching staff and team from the previous SEA Games.
Right.
So since then, I think it's pretty special that we have sort of,
There's continuity.
there's continuity,
Yes.
and then we're all just together and playing together, because that's that plays a big part in how you perform.
Sure.
Yeah.
Especially when you go against teams who train with each other
Right.
every day,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
So I think it's special that we've played 5 tournaments together, and then now it feels like we're gonna go full circle with the SEA Games. Especially now, in a way, we're more or less the same team. So especially that we're here in the country pa. So
Right.
Yeah.
everyone's
Very
excited for
reassuring
it.
to hear
Yeah.
that. Now, Marty, diba, actually the Malditas actually reached their highest FIFA ranking quite recently, no? That's 67th overall.
Yeah.
Diba? That's, I think you moved up, at least 7 spots, diba, sa FIFA World Rankings. I mean, Cam, confidence must have been really high, entering into the AFF Championships. Like, sige.
Yeah,
Go
we
ahead.
came into the championships with a goal, which was, of course, semis was really the goal, but the bigger goal would be the championships,
Yeah.
and more so how we perform against these teams that we've always played against with in
Right.
previous tournaments. And I think we came up pretty successful.
Yeah.
Semis was there, we made it, hooray! But once we won the game that kind of reassured us to go into the semis, we snapped back. Parang sabi namin, okay, what's next? And what's next was going against Vietnam. And Vietnam has always been like a Asian powerhouse.
Definitely.
And in the previous in the previous tournament, AFF tournament, we lost to them with a high score line, 6-0. So coming out of a 2-1 win was sort of like a small victory
Yeah.
for the team.
Yeah,
And
for
even
sure.
going against Thailand, coming out 4-2. So, and even scoring first. Yeah, scoring first twice. So it was really just something to be excited about.
Sure.
Kasi onti na lang eh.
Yeah.
Tapos,
And this is where what Cam was talking about, the continuity of being able to train with the same faces every time.
Right.
Because if you look at the other teams like Vietnam or Japan, they train almost every year. And then year round. And then they're used to each other, they grew up with each other.
Yeah.
So the national team does have the option to get foreign players, but nothing will ever replace that connection.
Right.
That, like, for example, Cam has already playing with so much caps with Pim. Yeah, right?
Pim, Shai, and then Haley.
So for example, you see it's working.
True.
They've gone against Vietnam, and it was a high score that they lost to, and then now it was a 2-1 score to end the match.
Right.
So you could see there is improvement and there is a change in the grassroots for Filipinos here in football.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well said, no, Marty. Good point about grassroots development. Now, Marty, Cam and the other girls, they were bracketed in I think it's a tougher group, needless to say. If you compare the Group A bracket, you have Thailand, Malaysia, Singapore. These teams all give the senior ASCAs like a hell of a hard time in not diba? In you name it, from friendlies to Suzuki Cup. These are tough cracks, tough outings for every senior squad that we put in, diba? But like for you, Marty, what was the team over here? Just looking at it, heading into the AFF Championships, what was the team like? You could say, you know what, if we could give them a pretty good fight, this would be a solid performance benchmark of where we are at right now.
Yeah, well, I think, Cam's right. The team in itself, even from the beginning of training camp, they were already focused on what they wanted to achieve just in training camp.
Right.
So actually, I remember this one time when Ina huddled us all together. I think it was the first week of training
Shout
camp.
out to Ina.
Balasha. She's the first 11 goalkeeper. And she huddled us in, and she was telling us, okay, so we have to fight for our slots, right? 23. Make it hard for each other, challenge each other,
right.
Because in the end, our goal is to win. And if we're just gonna take it easy now, as early as now, then how are we gonna go up against Vietnam or Malaysia or Thailand? So they were already focused from the very beginning.
And I think that was after it was announced to us that we had a higher ranking.
Yep.
Because we were huddled together then, and then parang na-announce na, okay, eto, we reached our all-time high, right? And then our technical director said a few words about it, and then after that, Ina gathered us and then said, from here on out, make it hard for each other. Imagine that you're gonna come home with that bronze medal.
So around your neck, I remember that.
All
She was saying that. So that kept us focused also.
Sure.
Even if we didn't come home with a bronze medal, we still got something better, which is, I guess, the confidence.
Sure.
The next time we're gonna see these guys, we're gonna give them
They
a fight.
know it's a challenge. At least now, those big giant teams know. Okay, the Philippines, they're competitive. Yeah.
And actually, it was pretty special for us that at the end of the tournament, sometimes kasi the teams socialize, and one of the key members of the Thailand women's team actually told, I don't know, Haley, and she said that she thought that we were going to be in the finals.
Wow.
So hearing that, she said.
The first time you heard this?
Yeah, this is the first time.
Wow.
Yeah. So hearing that from Thailand, which is a team that came from the World Cup, and then also the defending champion of AFF, that was something big. And if we see another one, another confidence booster, that the site, in the article review after match, the Thailand coach said that it was special. That it was the Philippines that sort of gave them a challenge, and that we were at the same level as them. So for them to consider us at the same level as,
they viewed you as a threat, a legit threat.
Yeah, so it was special.
Wow.
And
as it should be, because the Philippines, especially now that the SEA Games is in our country, we should be seen as a threat to giant teams like that.
You have to defend home field, diba?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I mean, even listening to what Cam just said, Marty, parang to hear it from,
your competitors.
From not only a contender, pero they're one of the leading teams in Southeast Asia.
Yeah,
diba?
they were in the World Cup.
Exactly. And to hear them, diba, give
they
you
won
that
against World Cup champions.
Yeah.
Diba? So
I mean,
it was pretty flattering.
to hear them give you that respect, diba, as an opponent, that's really big, But going back to your AFF championships, opening game against Malaysia. Marty, were you surprised that Cam would score twice, or were you calling
I was not surprised at all because from the very beginning, Cam was already focused on what she wanted to do.
Right.
And this is coming from me, who's been training with Cam since I was in high school.
Wow.
And coming.
Ano gusto mo, Mart?
Free lunch. And into college, like that's just how she is. When she puts her mind and set it into something, it happens. So I mean, people were shocked, like, wow, a hat trick, everything like that. But
Actually, only got the praise.
exactly. But the thing is, they only see the scoreboard, like the end of the scoreboard. They never see what happens behind.
Right.
And if you've been seeing how Cam was from last year all the way to, are you gonna cry? Don't cry. Like all the way to this year, it was a long process trying to get that hat trick.
Right.
Like, it wasn't just at a sudden, let's come into the game, get a hat trick. It was a year-long worth of training. Getting into that.
And I think CR7 put in a lot of work over there, no?
So no surprise for me when that happened. I was not surprised at all that Cam was gonna evolve into the game and actually make goals.
Thanks,
in the
Mars.
game. Yeah, I was like,
Cry here. No, but what she mentioned before, it was really a long process.
Yeah.
I think not just for me, but also for a couple of other national team members. There were a few whirlwinds in the year before, but I don't know. I think playing together and then always being continuously mentored talaga. That helps, give your confidence.
Right.
Yeah.
More.
Right. And I think a good takeaway from this Malaysia game, no, Cam scoring twice. I think even see Hailey Long, no, a good takeaway from this would be Claire Lim linking up with you both, diba?
Actually, that's a play from Coach Let. So that actually most of our goals are coming off plays that we've practiced during training. That was play 3, wherein you pass it to the wing back pulls a big wide to the opposite side.
Okay.
So.
Coach Led as a coach.
I'm sorry. That's a different game. I think.
But this was the one against Malaysia, though.
The one against Malaysia was Claire's free kick, right?
Right.
Free kick. Yeah. But that's also been practiced.
Because it's basically muscle memory.
Also,
and knowing each other. And Coach Led, she's always been the type of coach who likes to practice on plays, but then at the same time she allows us to have creativity. Like, it's not just memorize this play. No, you have to read the game and figure out which play will work better and fit into the picture so that we can get it into the attacking third.
Right.
So, yeah.
I think aside from Coach Let, the credit also would go to my previous attacking coach, Coach Power.
Yeah.
Because in my last year, that was, I'd say, my best year for UAP. I scored 11 goals.
Wow.
And that was coming off from 3 goals the previous season. And that was because Coach Power always instilled in us the importance of following up goals or rebounds. So if you saw the Malaysia game, both my goals were coming off rebound or following up. So Shai was the one who actually brought it in, took a shot. It bounced off the bar, and I was there to follow up. And then even with Claire, it went straight to the keeper, but it landed in front of me, and I just took it. So the importance of really just finishing the ball till it's at the back of the net. That came from Coach Power also, and just continuous practice.
Right.
Yeah.
And following that Malaysia game, no, Cam, I think. Were you girls trying to make a statement against East Timor? Like, just blasting them 7-0? Like, you know what, Malaysia, that wasn't a fluke. We're here to just, score big, like on other teams. Like, were you trying to, get it out there?
I think it was just to, ensure also that we got that win.
Okay.
Because prior to our game against East Timor Leste, they went to beat Singapore, which was a big feat because in previous tournaments they'd be on the losing end with huge score lines.
Yeah.
So for them to have that win or that sort of history, we made sure on our side that we secured it.
Yeah.
So if you saw, like, from the first minute of the game, coach really just told us to stay up, especially the attackers, because usually our play would be to go up and down.
Yun.
But she said, just stay up, bahala na yung midfield, bibigay sa inyo yung bola, then just score.
All right. You know what impressed me about this game, Marty? 5 different players scored. Right? Not, I mean, diba? Like, how is it with Coach Let? Does everyone have a green light to just go at it and score? Parang ganon? Or
Yeah, I mean, as much as possible,
Ganun?
you run the play, and then if you're in the position to score, you take it.
Okay.
So,
And with Coach Let, it was always everybody, the same way everybody attacks, everybody as well also has to defend. So if you focus as well on the Philippines defending on that games, they were disciplined in knowing where to place themselves, and they were really cutting the passing lanes off. So with Coach Let, just like I said, like, she just allows creativity on the pitch. It's basically football's a chess game. Some coaches I've been with before, it was more of memorization for them, teaching me just memorize this thing and then run this thing. But then Coach Let basically allows us to be free on the pitch.
Right. And then, after just blasting Malaysia and then Timor-Leste the following day, you go up against number 49, the Chaba Keo of Thailand, diba? They played in the, as Cam mentioned a while ago, the FIFA Women's World Cup last June. Diba? Like, Cam, was there parang a sense of pressure knowing that, you're up against a team that's no joke at all? Diba? Parang, like, how are you just going through it mentally na, this is a huge challenge in front of us?
I think we came into that match really just focused. They went to the World Cup. We've gone against them, and actually to date we have not won a game against them. It's really just knowing that in the next 90 minutes, that's what counts. Take it 45 at a time, and then thankfully we were able to score first in, I think, the 30th minute or the 40th, and then from there, we just saw na kaya pala. Tapos, ayun. So unfortunately, we didn't get the result that we wanted, but I guess we got something more, which is the learnings, the things to improve on, and the confidence as well.
Sure. But Martino, you faced Thailand before, diba? But like, even for the men's in men's soccer, like, what makes Thailand just like a powerhouse in Southeast Asia?
I think it's also the support that they get.
For sure.
For football,
From their national association.
If you've been to Thailand, no, here we go.
No.
If you've been to Thailand, football is really big there.
Yes, it is.
And you could see that because most of our players, the players that we know who play in the professional league here, have moved to the Thai Premier League.
Yes.
Because it's more, it's organized, and the fan base as well. And also the venues that they give the players, they have stadiums for it.
There we go.
So just seeing that, you could, if your club is organized and professional, what more for the national team?
Right.
So the support that they get, the budget that they give them, it's a big factor in how the team will perform.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, now I see it. Diba? It follows, with more support for your local league, diba?
For sure.
Parang your national team is the main beneficiary of that in the end. But I don't think the loss to Thailand mattered because the following game, again, you crushed Singapore 4-0, diba? And more importantly, the Malditas grabbed their first ever knockout stage spot since the tournament began in 2004. I mean, Marty, you've played football over here, diba? For the longest time, Cam as well. Like, can you just describe how significant this is? I mean, for you, I think your emotions were just at cloud 9, diba? But like for girls out there who realize that, the Philippine women's football program actually did this in 2019, diba? Doesn't this parang for you? It just says a lot about the significance of this milestone, doesn't it?
Well, how was it like when
Exactly.
you guys reached the stage?
I think from the start talaga we knew we could make it. So for us to make it official
Yeah.
it felt really good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
For
it's a
sure.
team effort for sure. So
Wow.
Well, back here, everyone was going crazy. Especially on social media.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the ASCOs, the last time the ASCOs reached it was around
2010.
2010.
Yep, I remember
This is the
that.
first time the women's reached it. And everyone was going mad, like on the internet. Like everyone was just really excited because it's a feat, not just for football, but for women's football.
Yeah.
And when you women's football, people usually undermine it here, and we don't get as much support. So just that in itself is a statement. Like, despite this and that, we're still putting in the work, and we're still gonna bring in results no matter what.
Right. Well said,
Yeah.
Marty. Now, I know it's been a month, no, Cam, since that. Pero, like, when it was actually Marty who was, all over social media, just putting this out there. She was like saying,
fangirl.
calling all Filipinos.
I was though.
She was, diba? On
Yeah.
Twitter, FB, you name it. Like, Marty was saying,
The support
calling
is
all
real.
Filipinos.
Thank
No,
you.
our Malditas are making noise over in Thailand. Diba? Parang they need more support and all of that. Because I remember when the Asgals beat Vietnam to face Indonesia in the semis of the Suzuki Cup. This was 2010. I was a freshman here, though. Parang, this was before social media just exploded.
Yeah.
I mean, there was Facebook, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't like
Facebook,
now, diba?
Yeah.
Like that just kick-started a boom in Philippine soccer, diba? Like, Cam, were you hoping that parang this could start something for the women's game too?
Oh yeah, I think it was more of like we made a statement na kaya namin, tapos may mabibigay pa kami sa SEA Games.
Right.
Yun talaga. So I think it was us saying that we can do it, and hopefully you continue to support us in our journey,
Yun.
especially to SEA Games. Hashtag
Yun.
road to SEA Games. Yun.
And I think Marty's gonna make more noise on social
Oh,
media too.
Yeah.
As long as I see some people aren't listening, I'm gonna keep making noise.
Pero diba, parang sometimes all it needs is that one, humongous
Yep.
game to just,
And I think it was the Thailand game that really got people
Yeah.
Yun.
excited. They were like,
Okay.
wow, we scored first.
When it was because it was live streamed in
was.
this site, and then you could actually see how many people were watching. And at that time, I have a teammate in the national team. She fractured her ankle, so we were watching it both. And then it was like around 43K people watching. And the second half it would increase, and then I was like, come on people, you better be seeing what's happening here.
Wow.
And I think in the semis game, it reached like 100,000.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was crazy.
Wow, no?
And this is a feat, knowing that in our games there'd be 5-10 people watching, and it's like our family.
Yeah,
It's our family supporting us. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So it's
it's like people were going mad,
Yes.
essentially.
Yes.
And they were just like, before when we would train, it was like, do people even care? Like, do people even know we're training for the Olympic qualifiers or something? And then all of a sudden, this massive fan base for the Malditas just popped out of nowhere,
Right.
and
Yeah.
people were just supporting the girls. And I made that Twitter post like, we gotta make noise because they're doing all this work in Thailand. It was like 2K people retweeted it, and I was like, yeah, that noise.
At least it gets the word going.
Yeah.
Diba? That's the most important thing. And I hope na it's sustained, diba? Because booms like this are great.
Yep.
yeah.
But the question is if you can carry it through, diba? For succeeding years, because as for the senior men's team, around circa 2012, 2013, that was sky high. Then it kind of lulled for some reason. I don't know why, diba? Lots of factors, but hopefully though for the women's game, diba, it becomes sustained. It becomes a continued success.
Yeah.
That's why I think we're at a point, like a breaking point right now. Like, okay, we have this win, and then what do we do with it? What do we do with this momentum?
Yun.
Like, it's really important na we continue it, not just to SEA Games, but onwards, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's pressure, not just to us, but also on the federation to just keep giving us the support that we need. Yeah.
Right. Because over here, no, from my observation, like Philippine soccer equates to your national team, diba?
Yep.
The popularity, the support, the media coverage and everything, it all depends on the national team, be it for men's and women's, diba?
Yeah.
Parang club football, it's there,
Yeah.
but it's not as omnipresent as the PBA or something, diba? But diba, parang it hinges a lot on the national team's performance, so to speak. So I think Cam is, diba, you do feel kind of the burden on your shoulders, diba? Especially the SEA Games, no? Ang laki nun. But, anyways, from that point on, I mean, remarkable feat. You went into the semis versus Vietnam. Vietnam had a costly error. I mean, to start it, but Martie, like, what kept, Cam and other girls from that, extra push against Vietnam?
I think it's because they were training 2 months already, and prior to that, they've been having camp for Qatar and Tajikistan, and it was like, if we're already here, if we're not gonna work it, then why did we even come and fly here?
Right.
So they were there for 2 weeks in Thailand, and it was make it or break it against these giant teams.
Yeah.
And you have the option to let your thoughts get into you, like, can we even do this? It's Vietnam, it's Thailand.
Yeah.
Thailand went to the World Cup, and then right then you've already lost the battle. But they pushed through, even going up against big teams like that. They didn't let their mindset or what people were thinking and assuming would happen. They didn't let it get to them.
Right.
So I think that's what really pushed the girls to just keep going.
Okay. You know what? And of course, Cam, you ended your campaign just missing out on that podium finish against Myanmar. But nonetheless, it's a remarkable run
Thank you.
for Philippine women's football. Cam, being part of the squad that made, it's Philippine women's soccer history, diba? What's your best takeaway from, this AFF championship stint of yours?
Kaya. No. Really, kaya namin eh. And aside from kakayanin. So, I say that because the team has always faced challenges, and the biggest would always be preparation. So, if you've been with the team for the past few years, you know what it's like when the tournament's coming up, and really we make do. So as a team, I think that makes us stronger.
Right.
And for us to come out from this tournament with that sort of victory, we know that victory is ours because we really fought for it in terms of our preparation, in terms of the sacrifices that we made, and the support that we just get from each other. Diba? Tayo-tayo lang eh. So, tayo-tayo, sa atin to, pinaglabanan natin to, nakaya natin. So, in the next step, kayanin pa.
Yun.
Bao.
Konti na lang, no, Cam?
Konti na lang talaga.
Konti pa, yeah. And then, Martie, essentially, the Malditas will be facing the same round of opponents again, di ba? In a couple of months. Pero, for you, Martie, what's going to be different about the Malditas come the SEA Games the next time the Thailands, the Malaysias, the Singapores face the Philippines?
I think it's because it's going to be in our country.
All right.
That will be different. And just, if you're the host country, there's already a lot of pressure in that. But above all else, it's that you want to give it everything because you're in your country. This is where they train before flying out.
Yes.
This is where they grew up, and this is where the support is. So I think this is what's different about all the tournaments that they went in and participated in, is that the SEA Games is going to be in the Philippines.
Yeah.
Yun. And I'm sure mas kakayanin pa nila Cam and Martie, of course. No? Again, Martie, Cam, thank you so much for joining us today on Radyo Katipunan Sports. Again, it's always a privilege to highlight not only our national heroines, but also Ateneans to be commended, diba? And again, it's also for huge fulfillment for me to share the spotlight, to footballers footballers and women athletes in general who have great stories to tell. I'm sure you're gonna take that to your latter years in life. This feat, at the AFF 2019 championships, and you know what, you deserve lots of respect and adulation for what you guys did over there in Thailand. Martie, Cam, before we end, any messages / greetings for teammates, friends, family? Sige, go ahead.
Hi.
I want to say hi to my teammates, national team, and Kaya. Cat for Kaya. See you later.
Yeah, and I think shout out to everyone who supported us all throughout the AFF tournament and even in the previous tournaments. And I invite everyone to continue supporting us, supporting the TM for this coming SEA Games. It's going to be from, I think, November 25 to December 10, if I'm not mistaken. Okay. It's going to be held in Binyan, Laguna. So I know it's pretty far from Metro Manila, but your support in person and also online helps a lot. And rest assured na kakayanin po namin. So to our teammates, coaches, kayanin pa natin.
Alright, and that is it for me as well as Martie B and CR7 over here at Radyo Katipunan 87.9, the voice of the Blue Eagle. We'll see you again next time. Thank you so much again, Martie B and CR7.
Thank you.
Radyo Katipunan. News, insights, inspiration.
Radyo, 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 Katipunan, radyo, Katipunan, radyo, Katipunan, radyo, 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 Katipunan, radyo, Katipunan. The voice of the Blue Eagle, kami di mapipigil sa pagbabalitang tumpak at tama. Buhay Atenista, sa loob sa labas ng eskwela, ating ibibida lahat ng eskwela. Radyo, 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 Katipunan, radyo, 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 Katipunan, radyo, radyo, Katipunan, radyo, radyo, Katipunan. Kawal ni Ignacio, Katipunero, sugo.